Hello, everybody. Welcome to a news update for the Sunday Matinee. We do not have a brand new episode this week. As I had mentioned last week, I was pretty tired after going 5 straight weeks talking about Godzilla vs. Kong and all that kaiju stuff. And also, early last week, I got my second COVID vaccination, and that knocked me out for a little bit. Didn't really have the time to plan things the way I wanted to. But we'll be back with full episodes this week. But for now, I just want to drop some just updates on what happened in the news and film for the last week. So here's your update for April 18th, 2021. One bit of news that we missed for last week's episode was that Peter Rabbit 2 has moved up from its July 2nd release date to June 18th. I personally still think they should have just released this one for Easter weekend and put it on, a streaming service or whatnot. But they seem to think that this is going to be a big one. I don't know. Moving on, Lucy Liu has joined the cast of Shazam: Fury of the Gods as a villain. So we already have Helen Mirren in there. Now we have Lucy Liu. So this is looking to be a fun little cast. The first movie, Shazam, was a lot of fun. So hopefully the second one will be able to continue that momentum for DC. All right, so we talked a lot about Godzilla and Kong last week. Kong Skull Island director Jordan Vogt-Roberts has been set to helm a live-action Gundam movie for Netflix, produced by Legendary Pictures. So he will be reteaming with the studio that he made Kong for. So they already have that rapport. He clearly knows what to do with giant creatures. So giant robots should be right up his alley. And based on how the world seems to be reacting to Godzilla vs. Kong, giant robots, I think, is something that we are ready to have more of in films. All right. So remember a couple of years ago, a little movie called The Hitman's Bodyguard came out and kind of caught the world by surprise and became a surprise hit. So the first teaser for The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard dropped this last week, reteaming Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson. And the internet kind of buzzed over that for a little bit. So probably looking at another hit for them. And that's all I have to say about that. Moving on. Speaking of Netflix, they have already renewed Bridgerton for seasons 3 and 4. This before season 2 has even started production. But of course, I'm sure there are plenty of you out there who are, binging through it once again because it seems to be the big hot streaming show, of the last couple months. So for those of you Bridgerton fans out there, congratulations! You get at least 4 seasons, which seems to be a lot more than a lot of Netflix shows get these days. So it's one of the handful that seems to make it past that second season. But speaking of streaming services, Marvel and Disney Plus's She-Hulk has begun filming in Atlanta. That, of course, stars Tatiana Maslany as Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, and we'll see the return of Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, aka the Incredible Hulk, very likely returning in his Professor Hulk form, where we saw him in Avengers Endgame. And we'll also see returning for the first time since the 2008 film The Incredible Hulk, the Abomination, Emil Blonsky, played once again by Tim Roth. So it's good to see them finally going back to The Incredible Hulk, a film that doesn't get referenced too much in the MCU. So it's good to see that they're at least continuing to acknowledge it exists. So last week, Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead trailer dropped. It will land in theaters on May 14th and then on Netflix on May 21st. This is kind of a big year for Zack Snyder. Again, his cut of Justice League dropped on HBO Max last month and caught me by surprise. I was much more delighted by it than I thought I would be. And the fact that he's doing another zombie movie, sort of zombie apocalypse movie, is great. It's sort of his first big non-DC comic book movie, since he did Dawn of the Dead way back in the early, I want to say it was 2003 or 4. So it's good to see him finally deviating away from the DC Comics scene, and going back to his roots. So we'll see how Army of the Dead turns out. I have to correct myself. He did Sucker Punch at one point, which is not a comic book movie, but still, he's been pretty well entrenched in DC for the longest time. So it's good to see him again deviating. Universal has set Chris McKay to helm Renfield, which is of course the henchman character from Dracula. This is based on a pitch from The Walking Dead's Robert Kirkman. So we'll see how that rolls. Again, Universal's last take on their classic horror films was 2020's The Invisible Man, starring Elizabeth Moss, which again I thought was an incredibly well done movie, and done very well on a small budget. So we'll see if they go for the lower budget, bigger thrills tactic that they went with Invisible Man, or if they're going to go big or go home that they seem to do with the Tom Cruise Mummy movie. Here's hoping for the former. Streaming on Netflix right now, it dropped on April 17th. Chadwick Boseman, Portrait of an Artist, about the life and career of Chadwick Boseman. It's only streaming for 30 days, so we want to make sure that you know about that now and are able to watch that before it's gone. We, of course, had an episode, about a month and a half back reflecting on Chadwick Boseman's career. His death still has left such a huge impact, and it's still really hard to believe. But I think this is one that we should definitely check out. Check that out before it's gone. So we've got a new Scream film shooting, and apparently they have decided they need to shoot multiple endings. And this is just to avoid spoilers. And I think that's actually a brilliant tactic for a film like that, because, these things happen. Some films have been incredibly good at keeping a tight lid on their productions and, preventing leaks. But, in the age of the internet, these things get out. Let's jump to Indiana Jones 5. Mads Mikkelsen has joined the cast of Indiana Jones 5. Now, anyone out there who wants to take the bet that, it's just plain obvious he's going to be a villain. But if you're out there and you bet that he is not going to be a villain, and you're correct, good on you. He pulled it off once in Rogue One, playing a hero. But if Casino Royale and Doctor Strange have taught us anything, it's that they want him in these big films because he can play a good villain. Jumping back to television, HBO's The Last of Us 2 has added Gabriel Luna to the cast as Tommy Miller, of course, who is, of course, in the video game the brother of Joel, who in the show will be played by Pedro Pascal. Gabriel Luna had a brief run on season 4 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Ghost Rider, and also appeared as I believe he played a villainous Terminator in the most recent Terminator film, Dark Fate. So. And I enjoyed what he was able to bring with Ghost Rider, so I'm excited to see him join this cast, and excited to see how this is able to both adhere to and deviate from the game, which is, of course, beloved among fans. So we're jumping into Marvel news here. Doctor Strange 2 is expected to wrap production this week. Now, that news dropped on Thursday or Friday, so it could have already wrapped production at this point, but the point is it's almost done filming, which is great. It should be set to hit theaters next year. I'm so excited to see Marvel films back in cinemas. I'm just so excited. But, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that news translates right into our last bit of news, and you may want to tune out at this point because our last bit of news is going to cover potential Spider-Man No Way Home spoilers. So you have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds to get out of this video. Okay, here you go. If you are still here, you know what the heck is going on already, or you don't care. Alfred Molina may have broken his NDA with Marvel, but he basically in an interview with Variety, he said that. One, he confirmed it. Doc Ock is going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home. But it is also going to be the Doc Ock from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, which also heavily implies that, the rumors of Jamie Foxx returning as Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2 are probably also true. And despite the fact that there was news not so long ago that previous Spider-Men would not be returning for this one, that could, Marvel likes to keep their secrets. Obviously, they couldn't keep the lid on this one. They should have filmed multiple endings, I guess. That could mean that we see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. We're still not sure, but this is going to be a pretty big Spider-Man movie already. So, and boy, oh boy, that kind of really means that those Sam Raimi films now technically, in a weird way, are tied to the MCU. So that's crazy to think, right? You think maybe they'll end up doing that with the Fox X-Men films? Who knows? We got a lot of crazy multiverse stuff coming up with Marvel. So yeah. So we will be back next week with a new episode because this weekend on Friday is the season finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we will, of course, have to have a Falcon and Winter Soldier spoiler cast. Also, this weekend, Mortal Kombat is releasing. So if you don't want to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, maybe that's something you're into. I would like to watch both, and I definitely have to watch The Falcon and Winter Soldier. And then I've got a couple ideas for some more episodes coming up after that. So stay tuned. For right now, I'm really enjoying taking the day off. I miss everybody. I miss sitting around and talking in a circle, but it is nice to, be in that vaccination recovery mode and on the way, so to speak, to being fully vaccinated. So, if you are not vaccinated, please consider getting your vaccination because the faster we get more people vaccinated, the closer we're going to get to herd immunity, and the faster we can get the heck out of this pandemic. We're not done yet. Keep masking up, keep social distancing where it is necessary, but go out there, get your vaccine. Um, Enjoy a good film on your streaming service, or if you can safely go to a movie theater. I'm hoping that's something I'll be able to do once that 2 weeks kicks in and I'm fully vaccinated. Um, enjoy some good movies and have an excellent week, everyone. We'll catch you next week with The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. See you then.